All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. Great to have you here on today, a Monday. Let's start the week strong. Today I was doing a little bit of reading on Coindesk.com. Coindesk is one of a few quality news sites on cryptocurrency. If you want to stay involved in the market, you should be reading things like Coindesk or Cointelegraph and just catching up on the news of everything. A lot of times on this channel, I'll pull out the most relevant news articles for you guys and share them with you. Because that's what I do here on this channel. I want to give you guys the most relevant information, the most need-to-know information, and put it into perspective how it applies to you. That's why you should subscribe to Altcoin Daily. That's why you should, really go through some of my videos and really, find out what you need to know. But anyway, I was reading Coindesk today, and I came across an article titled "Tether Might Still Be Crypto's Ticking Time Bomb," and a lot of these points by Tanzil Akhtar, I thought were good points. I tended to agree with a lot of them, so I wanted to go over Tether today, and I wanted to tell you exactly what Tether is, exactly what people use Tether for, and why it's probably a good idea to stay away from Tether. So Tether is a cryptocurrency that's pegged to the US dollar. So no matter if you're putting money into Tether or taking money out of Tether, it's always gonna, be a dollar. And sometimes it hovers around a dollar. It'll go to like 98 cents or $1.03, but it's always going to correct itself. You can see the chart here, it's always a dollar. So let's get into this article a little bit. We'll start off right here. The entire industry needs to keep an eye on Tether's USDT token, because if something were to happen to it, the result could be everybody's loss. That's because the coin, also known as Tether, has become a pivotal source of liquidity for crypto markets. Without wanting to further spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the community that's had more than its share, a collapse of Tether would be extremely bad for these markets, causing a ripple effect, no pun intended, and in the worst case, conceivably toppling exchanges. Which is a big fear for everybody nowadays, that the exchanges that they're storing some of their coins on, that something would happen to them. So let's continue. To be sure, so far Tether has lived up to its description as a so-called stable coin whose value is pegged to the US dollar. Trading data shows Tether has generally hovered around a dollar, occasionally dipping as low as 80 cents or jumping as high as 110, but the company's online critics have long alleged that Tether, which has close ties to the crypto exchange Bitfinex, has been issuing more USDT, more Tether, than it has dollars in the bank in order to drive up the price of Bitcoin. So that's saying that, Tether is claiming that for every Tether that they sell, that it's gonna be backed by a dollar, and they have, for every Tether, they have a dollar in the bank, and a lot of people don't believe that. So that's a problem for investors, because Tether is rare among cryptocurrencies in that it carries counterparty risk. In other words, the possibility one party to a contract may not fulfill its end of the bargain. In Tether's case, the obligation is redeeming Tether tokens for dollars. An audit by the firm Friedman LLP was supposed to prove that USDT was fully backed, that Tether was fully backed, but recently Tether abruptly announced that its relationship with Friedman had ended, and it remains unclear who dumped who and why. Now, with no audit forthcoming, the doubts are as pervasive as ever. When contracted for this column, a spokesperson for Tether would only say, quote, "Regarding the audit, we have no further comment." So, back whenever this audit was supposed to happen, this was supposed to give back the feeling of certainty to a lot of people who were unsure about Tether. It was supposed to say, hey guys, we're going to get audited. We're going to prove that we have, for every Tether that's out there, we have $1 US in the bank. And then, this audit fell through, and they're being a little bit, not forthcoming about it, a little bit shady in what exactly happened. before we go on with this article, let me just, like, what do people actually do with Tether? How does it make them money? Well, for instance, this is the Bitcoin charts for the past year or so. You know, we see that Bitcoin is about 11,000 right now. We're right here. And we remember in December when it got all the way up to 20,000. So what do people use Tether for? Well, Tether is always $1, pretty much. So people use Tether to consolidate. So when Bitcoin goes up all the way to 20,000 and people think, I know for sure Bitcoin is going to massively correct itself. So I want to pull my money out of Bitcoin, and without taking it out of the market, I'm just going to put it into Tether. So if Bitcoin was at 20,000, they would put all 20,000 into Tether, and they'd have 20,000. If they had, one Bitcoin, they'd have 20,000 USDT tethers. And then when Bitcoin got all the way down to, let's say it got down to 10,000, they're like, okay, now I'm going to put that back into Bitcoin. So now I just doubled my Bitcoin. So they use Tether as, a way to consolidate. And it's a risky move. Let's continue. Systematic risk. It would be one thing if the risk were confined to traders holding Tether, which according to CoinMarketCap ranks among the top 20 cryptocurrencies with a market cap of over $2 billion. But the Rice Ratings, a decade-old investment research firm that recently began evaluating cryptocurrencies, is warning investors that Tether poses a risk to the whole ecosystem, explaining, Tether is the only cryptocurrency with trading volume that regularly exceeds that of its market cap. That means the entire Tether supply changes hands regularly, sometimes more than once a day. This is important to know because it tells us that Tether is used for trading a lot. It's one of the main sources of liquidity in crypto markets. Hence, Tether could be described as systematically important, which is a polite term regulators use for too big to fail. And don't count on a government bailout. You guys can continue reading this article yourselves if you're interested. There's a video clip around here somewhere I wanted to click on. Okay, yeah, this is Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street. You guys probably remember him a couple months ago. He said basically that he didn't really get Bitcoin, didn't really get cryptocurrencies. Well, this is him going a little bit farther, and now he claims that he always supported Bitcoin, but he's basically going to talk about Tether and how people use Tether to pump up Bitcoin. And generally what he's saying, it's true. So let's take a quick listen.
Now it's coming out, with this, Tether, which is essentially like the industry, like it's their dollar. So you're supposed to, you use Tether to, like, when you park your money, it's in Tether. Well, they are finding out now that there's probably not, listen, I would say, I know there's not, but you can't, until they come out with the numbers. But I strongly suspect that there's a massive fraud that was instigated there. And it's not just a matter of saying, okay, well, if there's not as much Tether, we have to subtract out $3,000 from Bitcoin. It's not that. It's much worse than that, because what you'll see is that they used Tether to artificially support the market of Bitcoin, thereby dragging in more suckers into the game. Like, it's maintaining the illusion of prosperity, not allowing something to go down that should be going down. And by keeping it up, they bring more people into the game, and that's why they were using Tether. So when Bitcoin should have been crashing, that had gone to 16,000. So when that comes out, I believe the regulators are going to move incredibly swiftly, because I don't think Bitcoin itself is a fraud. I don't. It's what people do to Bitcoin that's a fraud. Okay. So I don't think Bitcoin's a fraud. It never was a fraud. It just attracts people, and it.
All right. So, take what this guy has to say with a grain of salt, because, originally he said he wasn't very bullish on cryptocurrencies in general, but what he's saying about Tether right now is true. And I think, because Tether has never had an audit, they claim to have $1 out there for every Tether that's in circulation, and that's a big, lofty claim. My opinion: stay away from Tether. In the past, I confess that I have used Tether to consolidate, but I'm no longer going to do that going forward because it's too risky, in my opinion. And when Tether goes, when it goes, unless something changes, I think Tether is eventually going to fail and collapse. And if you have $20,000, say you have $1,000 in Tether, it could disappear. And when that happens, it'll probably create a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market in general, and that'll probably be a darker time for the market. But hopefully it doesn't happen. But this is me telling you guys, stay away from Tether. It's not worth it. It's a matter of time until it collapses, in my opinion. All right, thank you guys very much. This is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. If you got value out of this video, please like it. If you agree or disagree or have something to say, comment below. I read all the comments and respond to a lot of them. I respond to almost all of them that you actually have something thoughtful to say. If you want to check out some of my recent videos, this follow-up video on Electroneum's gotten a lot of traction. Check that out, where I talk about whether Electroneum is centralized or decentralized. My review on Vice Industry Token. I really break things down and tell you if it's a good investment or a scam, or just go through my channel. I have a lot of videos that I did early on that when I didn't have a lot of subscribers that are probably very useful. I recommend the Nulls video, the Power Ledger video, the Lunar video, and also just the future of blockchain in general. All right, thank you guys. Peace.